episode of Tough Talk Tuesday with the Heavy Bag Boxing team. As always, I'm your host, Robert Alexander. Alongside me today, we got Lucas Biggers, Shakura Armstrong, and a special guest joining us this Tuesday. We have former Cruiserweight IBF champion, former heavyweight challenger, Steve USS Cunningham.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
What's up?
Yeah,
Hey, what's going on?
situated. Doing good. All right, doing great.
Steve, we're gonna go ahead and kick you off tonight with some questions, just roundtable style that we have from the team here.
Right.
So I'm just gonna start off with a general question here. But what do you got going on right now? I know COVID is tearing up everybody in the world right now.
Right.
You got
right
anything?
now, right now, what? Can you guys hear me good?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Right now, what we got going on? We own the gym, USS Fight Academy. The logo. We own our gym, and we have a booming kids class. We have a lot of amateur fighters that I train personally, and other people train. We have a couple other coaches, and there's no fights really. So we're just staying ready, staying sharp. COVID kind of kicked our butt. This new resurgence. We're here in Pennsylvania, and they gave us another 3-week lockdown. But we can't afford to do it. So we still keep our kids class going. We're still working. I'm still working out, trying to get ready. I haven't officially retired. So my goal is to get at least one more fight or two and then retire. I have my sons are top rated in the country as amateurs right now. My 18-year-old, that's him back there. He's number 4 in the country. I have my 10-year-old who's number 1, 2-time national champ. So we're working, man. Also, in COVID, I'm getting ready to launch my comic book from USS Comics that I drew, that I created. And you guys can check that out on USS Comics on Instagram and Facebook. Comic book is ready, man. I'm waiting for the bulk to come in, and I've turned fighters into superheroes, So the first comic book is USS versus Hardcore Mansoor. It's dope, man.
Oh,
So that's
I
what we're
like
doing.
that.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Cool.
Definitely, when it's available, drop our team a link, and we'll
no
share
doubt.
it. We'll definitely share it. Lucas, I'm gonna turn to you first, real quick. You got some questions for Cunningham?
Oh, of course. Again, thank you for coming on, Steve.
No problem.
Right off top, I want to come to you about this Bridger weight. Okay, a lot of people love it, a lot of people hate it.
Right.
Coming up, it seems like you would be there. So, what is your take on the Bridger weight?
Listen, I do it. If I can get in, and I'd go for the Bridger weight type, anything, but I think it's a belt for guys like me, like who is like me that's in the heavyweight division now. Usyk, I think they made this belt for Usyk, I think they did, but they're saying they didn't. But why wouldn't, why would they? I wish they had it when I was, rolling back in 2014 and 2015. That would have been perfect for me. I wouldn't have had to fight those big giants, but I don't care about, size doesn't matter to me. I get in there and give them a go. But I think, when I think about the Bridgerweight, I don't think people are going to take to it, unless they're good fights, unless they make good matchups, because people just want to see good fights, So you can call the division whatever you want. You can name the belt whatever you want. People want to see good fights, but also people are sick of the belts. You know what I'm saying? People are sick of the belts with an S. WBC, IBF, WBO, WBA, IBO, woo woo, UBU. It's like, what the free? I'm the OBS champion, and it's like, huh? But the major fan base, they don't understand that. All you hear is, I'm the so and so champion, and hey, I'm gonna come and watch you, man. Oh, you look good, So on one hand, I'm happy, that these belts, they kind of open the door for the fighter to get in, make some money, to get seen. But also it kind of dilutes the whole champion thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I can definitely understand that. I mean, like you said, there's just every belt under the sun. Plus, WBC likes to just churn them out and make belts that don't even make sense or have any
Yeah,
connection to anything whatsoever.
bro. This crap, man. The damn, I don't know what they into, bro.
Oh
I don't know
man,
what they.
I know you kind of been saying you want to get after David Hay. Is that still a fight that you think is possible now?
I don't think it's possible. I mean, I would love to get in there finally with David Hay. I'm still ready. I'm still in shape. I'm sparring. I'm ready to take. I can do a 4 week training camp and be ready for a 12 round fight right now. With what 3 years out of the ring, but because I'm always in the gym. But David Hay, his body's broken up. It's broken up, broken down. His last fight with Baloo, I think that was his last one, and he said he knew after 40 seconds in the first round, he knew he was done. So I mean, I would love for him to be like, you know what, I'm gonna suck it up and do this fight with Cunningham. But we know that's not gonna happen because David Hay, he literally ignored me when I had a belt. He didn't want the unification bout. They knew I'm a rugged guy. I can take a good shot and keep coming. So that's and he gets tired. He gets tired. He gets done. So, and I box my brains out. So I wish that fight would have happened. I wish it could happen, but I don't think it will, man. That guy, he's making money as a promoter. He's got fighters. Why get in there and take another risk of getting more damage to your body? So, hey, who's next though?
All right. Now, if not David Hay, you actually mentioned Usyk. One, I wanted to kind of get your take on Usyk. A lot of people are high on him. A lot of other people think he's definitely too small to compete at heavyweight. What do you think about him, and would you like to fight him? Because, I mean, like you said, that
Yeah.
Bridger weight is open.
Yeah, well, I would love to match myself up against Usyk. I would like to get a fight before that though, just to get some rust off. But I mean, he's a very, I mean, my goodness, he's awesome. You know what I'm saying? I'm a fan. I think him at heavyweight is great. I think he has potential. He's fought bigger guys in that, what is it, the WSP championship, that tournament, that pro-am tournament. He beat Joe Joyce. He beat guys that big and stuff. So but I don't see him. I don't know, man. I don't see him beating a Fury. I don't know about Wilder, because Wilder, all it takes is one touch. He probably beats Wilder for 6 rounds on the scorecards, and boom, he gone. Fury can work and move with him. I don't see him beating Fury, but Joshua, I see him possibly beating Joshua. I see Usyk possibly beating Joshua. Usyk is very crafty. He's a southpaw. He's slick. He's very intelligent in the ring, and I see him doing something at heavyweight. I mean, at Bridgerweight, most definitely being a champion at Bridgerweight. But heavyweight, I think they should go for Anthony Joshua first.
Okay.
Which they are. I think he's WBO #1.
Yeah, they offered him he refused basically to step aside, so I don't think that's happening. Yeah. But all right, Rob, I guess whenever you're ready, you can go ahead.
Thank you, Lucas. So, Steve, going back into the current affairs of boxing now, I just want to know what your kind of take is on this whole Mike Tyson, Roy Jones Jr. exhibition. In the exhibition in the game, period. Do you think that adds another step to the sport, or you think it's a mockery?
No, I don't think it's a mockery. I think it's. I mean, I'd rather late than never with those guys. You know what I'm saying? With Roy and Mike Tyson fighting. Of course, we wanted to see that when they both were at their peak. When Roy beat Ruiz, of course we wanted to see that then. But I mean, and we know what it is. They're older. But look at they put on a good show. It's all about just entertainment now. And with them being older, it's like, yeah, man, okay, this isn't the fight we wanted. These are the names, but this isn't them in their prime. But we're getting Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones. I mean, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I don't think it's a mockery. I think it's owed to them. I think they put in enough work to be able to do this at age 50 or whatever, and still get paid. I think they're legends. Legends should have that type of they should have that type of clout to be able to do that. And they did. And it wasn't bad in my eyes. It was entertaining to me. Very entertaining. Mike Tyson looked great. Roy looked good too. But Mike looked good, So I'm excited for that. Now the mockery, these YouTubers, I think that could be considered a mockery. I think that could be a mockery only because you have some fans that are really buying into them. Now we got one of the Paul brothers or whatever about to fight Floyd. Hey,
Yeah,
listen, Floyd, get your money. I understand that this is about money. Now, with that fight, people are like, well, no, that's ridiculous. I mean, look at it like this. The main event is ridiculous. Floyd versus one of the Paul brothers. Cool, he beats him easy. But look at the doors that the undercard, it's opening for the undercard. They're going to be real fighters fighting in jockeying for position, getting a check. Especially in this COVID stuff's been shut down, to be able to get on that undercard would be such a blessing for a fighter who's just been sitting around all year. You know what I'm saying? So, X the main event. We know what the main event is. We know the main event is a freaking circus. It's a money grab. It's
right.
entertainment. But the co-main event, the co-main event, and those other guys, that's the guys who are really, developing from this and getting something from it. And I'm all for it.
Yeah, that's kind of our take on it. We want them to kind of develop and go into more of the boxing scene when they do exhibition cards like that, and touch on even some of the more relevant fighters within these divisions instead of doing the YouTubers and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
yeah,
true.
we had a
But
big
you can't. But look at it like this. I mean, boxing. This is what I tell my sons. It's like, because I really didn't grasp it when I came into boxing. My thing was, as I used to, in Philly, we fought in the street and all this, and just going home from school, you get into a fight, and you didn't talk. But boxing is entertainment. So get the fan base. I'm telling them, get the fan base. I wasn't a mouth runner. I wasn't a guy, I'm gonna do this to you. I let my actions, show. But that kind of hurt me on the money side because I wasn't such a big draw, because look at Fury. Fury's such a big draw because his antics inside and outside the ring. So and he produces. So with the YouTubers, these dudes have millions of followers, millions. They're all of that. Every fan is money. You got to look at these fans like, you have to look at your fans like money. So I tell my sons, you have to draw them in, and the YouTubers, they already got the fan base. So now they're just bringing them over to not necessarily bringing them over to boxing. I wouldn't say that. So many people are like, well, they're bringing fans. No, they're not bringing fans. They're bringing their fans to see them. And then they're going back to gaming and whatever else they do on YouTube. And that's smart on their part. That's very smart. I applaud them. You know what I mean? It's very smart. Get that money.
Yeah, I mean, it does definitely appear to be very marketable on that.
Yeah.
Speaking of Tyson Fury, you were the one of the first big guys to step up at heavyweight and fight him. Yeah. And gave him a nice little knock on the chin.
Yes.
What is your take though of the level of success that he's brought and been able to capture after all of this up until now?
I think it's beautiful. It's amazing. It's beautiful. I think it's a show to his showmanship, his entertainment, his talking, his that those other antics, those outside the ring antics. But he works his butt off. I went to camp with him that year before, probably like 3 months after, and he works his ass off. He gets in there and he does his thing. He works hard, and he's a student. He's been a student of the game. That's why they brought me into camp, because it's like, hey, you knock him down with this punch. We want you to use the hell out of that punch in training camp, and so we can learn how to defend it and not get hit by it. And they paid me some good money to come into camp with him for 4 weeks, for the David Haye fight that never happened. So I was really the only one that got paid. I got paid some good money for that. And but I learned from Tyson Fury and what he did. I took some of that stuff, put it into my training, and they, of course, we learned. So he grew from our fight. He really grew, and I knew he was going to do something. I just didn't think he was going to beat Vladimir like that. My goodness. But Vladimir, he shut Vladimir down. Shut him down and shut him out. So I think it's great. I think it's awesome what he's doing. And I don't really see him getting beat, by Joshua, unless Wilder comes in and cracks him again and gets him out. That's the only one. I give Wilder that shot. But out of Joshua, he beats Joshua.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I agree with you completely on that take. throughout your career, you've had your ups and downs and issues
Yeah.
in terms of judging and stuff like that
Yeah.
within the sport. So now we have some more things come into play in Las Vegas with, like, say, this replay that they're trying to throw in there that they're having little mess ups and mishaps with.
Right.
What's your take on that whole system? And just, do you feel like it's a step in the right direction to try to get the sport to be better?
Yeah, I do. I think it is. I think it is. I mean, it may be annoying or cumbersome right now in the beginning, but I think there should have been instant replay in boxing. It should have been years ago, decades ago. We all see when something happens and it's like, yo, no, that was the wrong call, ref, or it was this, it was that, and that you gotta look at it like this. That's a fighter's livelihood. That's a fighter's boxing record, which basically translate to his livelihood. Because if he loses, then the next fight's going to be less money, or then they'll probably start treating him like an opponent. It just goes bad for a guy who doesn't have like a real good position, in the sport, in his ranking. So that fight could have been it for him to get him there. If that replay helps him out, and it was honest and true, I'm 100% with the replay. I'm with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully they expand on that and kind of replay and critique some of these judges, though, because sometimes these judges, you don't know what they're seeing.
Those judges need to be held accountable for their ridiculous scores. No doubt. I'm 100% for that. Let's hold these judges accountable. I'd rather have that before instant replay. If a judge has such a wide margin and we all can see what was going on, who was really winning, who won those rounds, you got to get the act. You have to get questioned. You need to go through an interrogation. Something needs to happen to these judges that have these wide margins that are obviously ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, we've had conversations about this. Like, one thing I can think of is maybe what they're seeing of why they won the round, whether it be ring generalship, more power punches land. Just a side note upon your score of why they won that round. You think that's
right.
That would do it?
Right. We need that. I feel you on that one too.
Absolutely. Steve, I'm not going to take up too much more of your time with my questions. I'm going to let Shakira go ahead and set her questions up.
Hey, Steve.
Hey, what's up?
Oh, nothing. Just waiting for the holidays, But what I was going to ask you was about your most challenging fight. Like, what do you recall as being one of your most challenging fights?
My most challenging fights. I have 3 fights that were challenging. One, I'll go way back to when I fought Guillermo Jones in Worcester. What year was that? 2005, I believe. That was a difficult fight. I won, split decision win, and it was difficult for one because Guillermo was very crafty, a very slick boxer, very durable, just as tall as me, long reach and everything. So it was kind of it was tricky. It was crafty. It was like a chess man. It was like a high-speed chess, trying to get to each other, but active. And secondly, this was my first time wearing, I was a fan of Angel Man Freddy. So you guys remember, he used to wear like the red tights. He used to wear the red tights to match his outfit. So I wore black tights to match my outfit. And I mean, I trained in them, but there's a different intensity in the fight, different lights, the heat. And I was listen. I've been in camp for 4 weeks, 5 weeks. I'm in shape, but I'm wearing these tights and I'm in there, and I get tired. I mean, I'm getting drained. Not necessarily puffing tired. I'm drained. And in the fourth round, I'll sit down on the stool. I'm like, yo, what's wrong with me? And it really zapped my energy. But I was pushing. I pushed through, got the win. It was a sloppy. Well, I won't say sloppy win. It was a split decision win. Good win. Very good win. And I get back to the locker room and I was talking to my trainer, like, what the hell, man? Like, yo. And he was like, yo, you got these damn leggings on and the black ones are thick. And I was keeping the heat in, man. I was overheating and I didn't even know it. So that's what made that fight rough for me. Okay. My second fight that was my hardest was obviously the Fury fight, After I knocked him down and hurt him a few more times, he started, he's like, he went back to his corner, and I know that's what they said, you know, because I went to camp with him and talked with him and his trainer. And they was like, man, I'm the bigger guy. What am I doing? Boxing with the smaller, faster guy. You know, start leaning on him, slowing him down, and he
Yeah.
doing rough stuff, you know, and that was it was heavy for me. In that 6th round, I know I was saying to myself, as I was winded because of, you know, trying to lift them off me and wrestle with them, and it was no go with that. I knew I'd get 2nd and 3rd wins in 12-round fights. So I'm like, all right, next round, get my break, come back, I'm gonna be better.
Okay.
And boom, he put the forearm and KO'd me. So that was a really rough fight for me. And my last fight was the Amir Mansour fight. Man, he was the hardest hitter, hardest puncher I ever faced in my career.
That was my next question. Who hit the hardest? So
There's
you
Amir.
answered that.
Amir Mansour. That's why he's the star of my very first comic book. You know, that guy hits hard. I mean, I was outboxing him good in the first 4 rounds, you know, boxing him. And I'm like, yeah. And my problem with me is I have to talk to myself and be like, listen, if once you're boxing these guys, don't think you got it in the bag. Because oh man, I got him. Then I'll get cute with it. And I got cute with him. And boom, boom. 2 times I was knocked down. And he hit me a couple other times that had me like, woo. So that was a real rough fight. But we weathered that storm, got a 10th round knockdown, and we won. You know, we got that big win. Won the USBA heavyweight title.
Oh, yeah. I remember
and
that.
And gave me his first loss.
Well, you know what? I saw you and your trainer, and I'm so sorry to hear about him passing recently, Coach Nazim.
Yes.
And I was going to ask you, like, you know, how close was y'all relationship, and, you know, how do you deal with, like, missing that element in your training and things like that?
Our relationship was beyond close. Like we were more than just boxer and trainer. You know, we went to the movies together when there was no fight. You know, our families got together here and there. We talked on the phone often, or you know, at times. He was the first one to come to the hospital to see my daughter, you know, after she got the heart transplant. I mean, he called us and was like, yo, what's the address? And we were like, we told him the address, and he's there in 10 minutes. And we were like, what the hell? He was like, man, I had already drove all night, you know, to get, because it's a 4.5-hour drive from Philly to Pittsburgh. And he was already on the road when he got there and was like, what's the address? And we told him, we're like, yo. So, I mean, our relationship was great, man. It was like big brother, little brother, you know. It was an awesome relationship, man. And, you know, we talked, we joked. Training camp was always just fun. You know, I love training camp with Nazim. He was so goofy and funny. And we were from like the same neighborhood, man. So, I mean, we all had similar stories, and that's my guy, man. And how different it is. I mean, you know, training, I'm all the way out here in Pittsburgh, and I've always trained by myself in between camps while I'm here or before I met Nazim. But when I was in Philly, you know, Nazim's a gym rat. He lives in the gym. He loves the gym. So I would just train with him in between fights. And it was just great, man. I just love to be around him because he has so much knowledge.
Yeah.
You know, he inputs so much knowledge into you. And it's different. Don't get it twisted. You know, it is totally different. There's times I found myself on the bag. I broke out in tears a couple of times because there's a huge picture of him in my gym.
Okay.
And I just look over and it's like he's looking at me work, you know, and I just burst out in tears, man. And I miss him. We miss him. My family misses him. You know, he was a part of our family, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a real loss for the whole boxing community.
Yes.
Like you're saying, everybody knew he had so much wealth of knowledge.
Yeah.
You know? And that particular fight that we saw you guys at, and I got to take a picture with you because you were very nice, and he was too. And so I appreciated that as a boxing fan. We were at the MGM Grand. But that was
the Floyd and McGregor.
Yes.
That was 2017. Yeah, that was my last fight. Yeah.
Yeah, it's that Tabiti fight. I felt like you won that fight.
I did too. Hey. I did too, but it's all Look, it was a Floyd guy. I fought myself a bit too. You know, I fought, of course, the system because that's Floyd runs and owns Las Vegas, you know. That was Floyd's guy. His guy was not losing unless he really got beat down. And I was in there matching him speed for speed. I threw more punches. I landed more punches. I didn't hold. He was running and holding. I thought I had it in the bag, but I fought myself because it's like I'm the veteran. I should have took it to him a little bit more, you know.
Okay.
But that's hindsight. But still, in hindsight, it's like, you know, still I did enough. Not even enough. I beat him, but so we feel like, you know, that was a Floyd thing. You know, Floyd thing got it in the bag, but Tabiti knows what it is. Tabiti knows.
Brad Jones says, "Bro, you beat Andrew Tabiti. Sakura, you're the best."
See, I'm trying to tell you guys. They never
Yeah,
listen to me, Steve. They don't
yeah.
understand.
They gotta give you your props. They gotta give you your props.
Thanks. Well, my last question has to do with who you think, well, I guess, what is your prediction for an AJ Fury fight? I mean, I know you said you think that Fury wins, but you know, how does he do it? Does he do it in the same fashion as he did Wilder in the two, or is it going to be a different game plan?
I think Fury has a possibility to stop AJ late, probably like 10, 11. Because AJ, you know, you've seen his last fight, man. AJ, he gets tired. You know, he gets tired banging with those big guys, and he's going to try to go in there and get Fury. You know, he can't outbox Fury. I don't think he outboxes Fury. Fury's too smart for that. Mm-hmm. So he's going to have to box and mix it up. I see Fury just being crafty, running off punches, and with Joshua getting tired like he does, I see Fury possibly stopping him 10, 11, you know?
Yeah.
Remember that if it goes down.
Don't worry. We'll have it on video so I can break that
All right.
Thank you, Shakira. So that wraps up all our questions. Lucas, we got any questions from the fans?
No, I think they did have some, but it looks like they got answered throughout our questions. Steve, best case scenario, buddy, when are you going to be coming back?
Man, who knows, man? I'm Al Heyman's my agent. We call Al, left a message. We're trying to get him on the phone. I've got a call about fighting bare knuckle. They're talking my numbers, and I'll do bare knuckle. I just want to fight. You know what I mean? I've been out the ring for 3 years, and I've been training ever since. And we've had 2018. We had 2 fights fall through. You know, and last year we thought it was going to, well, no, not last year. This year we thought it was going to be the year because I started commentating more, just getting my face out there more again. And then boom, COVID hit. So it's like, but I'm staying in shape. I'm ready. I ain't stopping. They're not going to catch me slipping. They will not catch me slipping. That's one thing. And that's the problem. You know, people, they follow me. These other fighters, they follow me. They see, you know, me posting pictures, sparring with my shirt off, just working. They know, like, oh, this dude, and they already know Cunningham ain't old, you know, look at him, you know. So it's hard, you know. It's all good. I'll do an areola, you know. We could do an areola, Steve Cunningham versus areola. We could do Steve Cunningham versus anybody, you know. Listen, I fight, you know. Just point me in the right direction. Give me the name. We prepare for him, you know.
All right, Steve, real quick, I got to ask you, because I ask every fighter who's managed under Al Heyman who comes on here, because, you know, they try to give him a bad rap. Yeah. But how is Al Heyman the truth? You know, how is he as a person? How is he as a manager?
As a person, I spoke with Al, talked with him in length a few times. The dude is about the fighter, you know. He is what we wanted our entire career. When me and my wife first talked to him and we spoke to him, he's like, listen, I'm doing this for you guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to get you guys financially set. I want to get you guys these championships. And I mean, I never heard it like that. You know, I never heard it like that from anybody else in the sport, in the business, from any other promoter, manager, or whatever. My wife's my manager. She's been my manager for 12 years, you say? You know, and but before that, I've had some situations, but getting with Al, it kind of like turned my life around. You know, put me on the big stage again, made some real good money, and gotten some decent fights. You know, so as a person, I mean, as a manager, same. You know, great dude, man. The only thing is, you know, just. You know, it's like any manager or agent with a lot of fighters or a situation with a lot of fighters is, you know, you just got to wait your turn, get in there, but he really takes care of his champions, ex-champions and champions. He really looks out. So man, I'm 100% Al Heyman, man. You won't get me saying nothing wrong about the guy, man. He did some great things for me and my family, straight up. And I've heard that from all five, mostly 90 something 9.9% of the fighters that he has. Nobody, well, they won't leave him because he does them right. And I was just talking to somebody today at my gym about Don King. I was with Don for 8 years, and
Right.
he was like, how about the promoter just doing right by people? You be better. You'd be better off. You probably make more money because more people want to be with you. And we told him our stories, and he was like, "Wow, just do people right then." And it's like that's the situation I'm in with Heyman. I've been in with Heyman. It's opened the door for me to get to FS1. We've been looking at a contract with them to commentate. Man, it's just been great. So we're just COVID has really slowed up a lot. But like I said, staying ready on both ends, commentating and fighting.
That
Thank
sounds
you.
great.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely appreciate that answer. Lucas, you got anything else?
No, Steve, but the next time you come on, man, I'd love to talk more about flat earth theory and simulation theory, get into some things that are not boxing.
Yeah, I love to. I love to.
Oh, and can you give us the names of your sons and how we can find them
Okay,
on
so
social media?
what's Steve's Instagram, babe? I'm sorry. So my 10-year-old Cruz, his Instagram is his name is Steve Cunningham. He's 2-time national champion. He's number 1 in the nation. His Instagram is Cruz USS.
Okay.
All right. My son Steve Jr., who is 18, just turned 18 a couple weeks ago. His Instagram, he's number 4 in the nation. His Instagram is 1K Tugboat. All right, that's it. 1K Tugboat.
1K.
And I have another guy who's 2-time national champ, number 1 in the country, 10-year-old. His name is Maximus Ruiz. So his name is what is his Instagram? Chino USS. I'm sorry, I forgot his Instagram.
Chino USS.
Yep. So these little guys, all our guys are good, but them little guys, man, they're vicious. There's some stone cold. Like Cruz is a slick, stone cold boxer. He'll get you with them clean shots. Chino, he'll take it to you. So, they made a name for themselves already on the national scene. We just got to keep them going, keep them focused, and which we do, and just wait till COVID's over to get back in there.
All right. Sounds great. And shout out to your missus, because I love to hear about women in the sport of boxing, because it's not easy.
Yeah, she's we made her my manager after my first loss or robbery in Poland, where my manager at the time didn't do anything. They did so many things in order to make their fighter comfortable and make me uncomfortable. And I'm like looking at my manager like, dude, do something. Like, why am I paying you X amount? And then after that fight, we got robbed out of our donut. I was 19-0, now I'm 19-1. I'm pissed. Now we got to divvy up the money. He's got 25%. I got to give him money. I got to give Don money because it was a purse bid. And then I get money. We get money. And it's like, we all got the same amount. And I'm like, what the hell?
And you're in the ring. Yeah.
Right. And I'm the one who took the pain, trained, and have the loss now. So we made changes. I fired him right after that. Got rid of him and brought my wife on board. Now, we learned to do that from Chris Bird and Tracy Bird. Right. You guys know, she was his manager, and they're like, my wife has a degree in marketing from Boston University, so it's easy, easy money right there. So we did that, and she's been dealing with like Don King, German promoters, Kathy.
She get an award for that, just that alone.
She does, and just all these promoters and Al Heyman and all of them. That's her thing. So of course we're going to manage our boys. If and when they decide to go pro, which I know USS Junior wants to turn pro in a few years. So now we have a better formula than I had. I say I was the guinea pig. I was the guinea pig. Now we have a better formula. We have a better understanding of boxing, and we'll be able to guide them properly. We know what to put in the contract now. We know what to ask for. We know what to hold out. We know who to go to. So Man,
And
can't
branding, and branding now too.
true, true.
Well, good luck
All
on
right.
everything.
Thank you very much.
All right, Steve. Definitely a pleasure having you on as always, sir.
All right,
Look
thanks,
forward to
guys.
you and your future endeavors and your whole camp.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you having me on, man.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, peace.
All right, guys. Yo, that was some great insight with some
Yeah, it really was.
great insight with a hell of a boxer. As I was saying, Steve Cunningham started out in the cruiserweight division, morphed into the heavyweight division, got a fight, the first knockdown of Tyson Fury. So the man has a lot of experience in the ring, and it shows in that interview.
Man, I really want to see him versus Usyk now. Like their careers have kind of mimicked each other, and I think right now would just be an amazing fight. Like he said, I really think he does need to get in the ring, maybe just a tune up real quick, and then him versus Usyk. Man, that's the fight to be made.
I agree. That's
Yeah, I
awesome.
agree too. And see, everybody is not against Bridger Wade, Lucas.
No, not everybody. I mean, yeah, I think it does benefit the fighters a little bit more than it does the fans myself, but I think
No, not
certain fighters are going to be against it more too. Just really depends. Like he said, I mean, it's better because it's more money, more exposure for the fighter,
Yeah, for sure.
especially because it's a new division. They're going to be like, "What's this new division?" And then they'll tune in. So like I said, it's good and bad.
Well, I
all
like
right.
it because of fighter safety. So
Yeah, wham, wham, wham. All right, guys.
I don't know who
Um,
you talking to, Mister Announcer friend, because you were tripping right now. You're the main one that said that we needed to make changes last year when we had like 3 to 4 deaths in the sport. So that's one way
okay,
to
I,
do it.
I understand with the safety, but again, I'm back to we can't get people to watch cruiserweights. Anyway, let's go ahead and talk about this weekend's fight, guys. First up is Shakur Stevenson, dominating performance as usual over on ESPN. No controversy, no issues. Pretty much light work for him. Um, how do you feel about the competition level that he faced? And what are you looking for him in this next coming year? Lucas?
Man, I got to be honest with you. I was just spacing out. I'm trying to fix some stuff with the show.
No, then go ahead. Shakira, you start us off.
All right. So Shakur looked amazing. He usually does look so crisp and he's so accurate. And it really is all about the true meaning of boxing for him, which is hit and don't get hit. So I'm a big fan of Shakur's. Um, Obviously, to me, Shakur still has to increase the level of competition even more. But I do like with his finish, he answered the question of who's next and what's next for you seamlessly, the way that others should in the sport. I mean, let's just think back at the answers we received, in the last couple of weeks, in the post fights. And now we look at how Shakur wrapped up his night by saying, yes, by the end of the year next year, I see myself as a champion at super featherweight. And yes, I want to fight this one. And yes, am ready for this one. And I'd love to have a fight with Lomachenko if he moves back down. Like these are all things that we love to hear from our champions and people that want to be even greater as a boxer. So I was really pleased with, just his performance overall.
I mean, yeah, I have not been let down by Shakur yet. So amazing performance, and I'm only expecting better. Lomachenko may be a bit early,
Yeah,
but I love the attitude. I love the enthusiasm.
exactly.
I mean, No, Lomachenko is not too early. I think Shakur Stevenson can beat Lomachenko right now, especially if he moves down in weight.
Really?
But you all know how I feel about Lomachenko, especially after he just got beat.
Oh man.
That being
You
said, though,
just had to ruin the statement. You really did.
that I mean, I don't care. I'm like Stephen A. Smith. Everybody's got an opinions. I got mine. I'm entitled to it.
Okay.
That being said, Shakur Stevenson, Shakur, he has a plan and his team has a plan, and you're right. And that's the biggest thing that I'm impressed with is him being able to speak on that plan. Andre Ward and them trying to bring him up, in a different type of fashion. Um, I'm always a little skeptical when you're promoted by a guy like Andre Ward because let's face it, the man didn't really do much to promote himself
Mhm.
as a bigger person in the ring. But as long as they have a plan, it's there. But we need that step up sooner than later, and we need it in a huge way. Absolutely, get Lomachenko down there next year. Make that your first fight. I think you can win it. That's what I'm looking forward to with Shakur Stevenson in the future, y'all.
Right.
Um, Next topic then, and we had the guests, so we only have about two topics tonight. But of course, we got to talk about your Anthony Joshua performance this weekend, guys. First off, Lucas, maybe not yet. I'll start with
No.
Shakura. Okay, good.
What's the question?
Lucas, it took him 9 rounds to knock this guy out, man. It took him 9 rounds.
But
Why do
he
you think it took him so long?
but he dropped him several times. I mean, it could be a style thing. I don't know. I mean, he definitely looked good doing it. Some people said he had to take some rounds off and kind of wore himself out there in the mid rounds and kind of had to get a second win to be able to put him out. You know, I don't know. Did you guys think he punched himself out? I didn't really see it that way.
So to me, there's still questions there. Just as Steve was trying to explain, I think there's some stamina issues for some reason. There's still some stamina issues there. Whether he punched himself out or not, it, Kulev has a chin. You know that going into the fight, you got to be meticulous about it. And look at all the other great older fighters. What they usually say, they don't look for a knockout; they let it come to them. That's what AJ really needs to learn in all of this. He needs to start learning how to be real meticulous in the ring and let the knockout come. Stop trying to force it. That's one of the main issues that I had. The other one is he got hit a lot more than he should because he was open. He was open a lot, and the hands were down in the later rounds of the fight. Granted, he might have thought there was no threat, but anytime you get in the ring with a heavyweight, there's a threat.
I mean, it was pretty dominant for me. Let's see. CJ Hooker says Floyd Mayweather should put together a super stable of fighters. He's got Tank. If he can get Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney, and Terrence Crawford, the money team could rule boxing. Let's get Joshua versus Fury and get it over with.
Wow.
Yeah, so Shakur, then that's my next question to you. Then, did Joshua do enough on Saturday to garner a immediate fight next year with Tyson Fury?
Ugh. I mean, it didn't make me stammer to want to go see it, if that's what you mean, or be so hyped that I'm like, forced to go on all these boxing groups and make noise about it or anything, if that's what you mean. I mean, the performance was average. It wasn't anything to be like super exuberant about, but he did what he had to do, which is the main goal of the fights. For me, I do still see some errors that need to be, kind of reined in with the defense. And I do see also, like you saying, there is still a stamina situation going on there, and I'm not sure why. But at the same time, he's a stand-up boxer. He did what he had to do, and Pulev, gave him a little trouble with just how solid, and how much of a chin he has. I think for him, he probably didn't see that the fight would be 9 rounds. In his mind, AJ might have been thinking, or I should be able to get him out of here by 4 or 5 rounds, but that didn't happen. So, as boxers, you just got to know, like, hey, I've had problems with stamina in the past. So, I need to make sure that I, look impressive and stuff, because people are starting to talk about this Fury versus me fight. So so I'm like, okay, well, you got to wow us and impress us as boxing fans to make us want to do that. Part of the problem is that, AJ's fans over across the pond, they don't care what's up with him. Like, they're gonna be diehard fans, which is what I love about UKers and their love and passion for boxing. They're not fickle like American fans are. But at the same time, it can make you lackadaisical at times when you know that it's not a big fight and you don't have to do much that's to garner attention from your boxing fans for the next fight. So it's just a mental thing that he has to work, prepare for. And by the way, did you guys notice that before the fight started, he was in the dressing room and he was doing a lot of like yoga type moves with his stretching and things like that. I'm feeling like these are tactics and things that strategies that maybe someone talked to him about to kind of ease his anxiety issues that he was saying he was having before fights. So that's also something that we also need to, like, kind of be cautious of too. Is the
Yeah, but
mental there.
he was looser. I felt like he was looser in this fight than I've ever seen him. So I
Yeah,
think
the
that actually
muscle
helped.
mass is definitely smaller, and that's what's making him be able to be looser. Is the fact that he's not putting on all that bulk muscle as before. So I was happy that he didn't do that too.
which I thought would also help with the stamina, but
Yeah, you're
you know,
right.
But
you take off some of that muscle mass when he was looking like a bodybuilder versus Ruiz, and you would expect it to be better, but it seems around the same, still the same issues. So
That is very
right.
true. You
And
have a
also
great
I think a lot of that is him not being meticulous about the him trying to go for the knockout. Shakur, he did that against Ruiz and lost because he thought it was over. It'd be over in 3 rounds, 4 rounds. You can't do that all the time in this division. Yeah, you might think you have heavier hands, but you can't necessarily do that. I can even go back to the Klitschko fight, even when he gassed out and had to get a second win to take Klitschko out.
I mean, but
So
Steve was even just talking about how he knew in a 12-round fight what rounds he was going to gain stamina back. Maybe this
mhm.
is something that AJ needs to start, keeping stock of, so he'll know when to turn on things and when to reserve his energy and what rounds and things. So maybe that's something that he could explore too.
I got an idea. Y'all ain't gonna like it, but
Oh, here
it's
we
fun.
go.
To me, it's funny. I got an idea. Somebody get him like a little Fitbit to go on his wrist to count his punches. When he gets up to a certain amount of punches, you stop.
um every, people are wanting AJ versus Fury, but I actually want AJ Wilder more. I don't think AJ's really got a shot at Fury any more than what Wilder did. So, I mean, Joshua Wilder actually seems more competitive to be in my head. I don't know about you two.
Well, here's the issue, Lucas. Though, then who is Fury gonna fight?
Nobody. He's already the top. He's the top.
Okay, then, but he's gotta fight somebody. He's
I
gotta
mean,
fight somebody.
obviously he fights the winner because they already he wants his third rubber match there with Wilder, and he hasn't fought Joshua yet, but that money's gonna be there regardless. So you
Yeah,
got
but
to
the
get the
belts
Wilder
may
fight.
not. Like, I want to see Fury with all the belts. I want him to be like a true unified, be on that list with like the other 5 boxers that's there. It's like I just want to, have it where he has that accolade before he goes out. I mean, not just because he's just deserves it or earned it, but because it's also something that really can uplift people that have mental illness, to be like, I was like at the lowest I could be, and look at me, I became a true unified world champion. So if those belts, if they fight first, like Wilder and AJ, I would like to see that fight, by the way. if they fight first and he loses that belt, well, look here, we're right back with Wilder Fury again
Yeah,
for the true unification of heavyweights.
that's true.
So I mean, I feel like maybe Wilder should maybe negotiate that situation. I fight the winner of either one of these guys. Whoever wins and gets all those belts, that's who I want to fight.
Yeah.
So,
So just a last question then for y'all, and we can wrap it up. Just because this thought came to mind, and me and my father just recently spoke on it this past weekend. So I kind of want to get you guys' take. But with all these heavyweights out here fighting in the styles that they do and the manners that they do, all these issues with the trainers, the entourages, all this stuff right here, man, my father was like, I couldn't imagine what Emmanuel Stewart could do with these guys out here if he was alive today.
mm,
Oh man, Wilder, could you see a Wilder with Emmanuel Stewart? Even Deontay Wilder with Emmanuel, Tyson Fury, I think is good, but
I was gonna
AJ,
say with Wilder, I'm
I
not
was
so
about to
sure.
say he has
Now,
been in his camp. I mean,
yeah,
Fury has been in E's camp before,
but
with
mhm,
his cousin.
but
So,
with AJ and Fury, somebody with some boxing talent, um, I think yeah, I mean they would make monsters out of him. I don't think Klitschko would be half of what he became without Emmanuel Stewart.
I think
I
Klitschko
agree.
became what he came because of Emmanuel Stewart.
Pretty much,
I
yeah.
absolutely think Deontay Wilder could benefit tremendously with Emmanuel Stewart, though.
He would have had to been brought up completely under Stewart, I think.
Well, in order for him to want an Emmanuel Stewart, yeah, he might have needed to been with him early in his career. But if he did decide to go that man, I mean, can you imagine him telling the truth about his inadequacies, and then on top of it being like, but this is how we gonna correct it. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right,
it would
right.
be like a situation where I'm gonna tell you the truth, but I'm gonna give you the solution too. Like I'm not just bashing you. I'm actually telling you this is what we have to work on for you to be great. Like you really want people to feel you are. And he it was always great at making people feel like they had some urgency. Like, he was on your ass in that damn corner. You start daydreaming and, losing your focus with him. I mean, he's gonna like, slap you back into reality quick.
Yeah. CJ Hooker says I want to see AJ with all the belts. They have to fight in England. Uh, then went on to say Stewart would have to rebuild him from the jump. That's kind of what I was saying. Yeah, I don't know if they could be salvaged. He would have to start all over again, basically. Daniel Munoz, if I'm not mistaken, didn't one of the Klitschko brothers help AJ for his rematch with Andy?
Didn't what? I could what?
One of the Klitschko brothers help
He,
AJ for his rematch with Andy. It definitely would not be Vitali. If anything, it would be Vlad. But I don't remember that
Yeah, I don't
because
know.
he's been
he
out of the
might have been
game.
there. He
He's
might
been out
have
of the
been
game.
there. Yeah,
He
I
might have
think. I
been,
think.
but yeah, he wasn't sparring or nothing.
Yeah, I think they were around maybe, or trying to support him. But I don't know if he did help him. And if he did, we might be wrong.
Could be.
Even if he did, though, it's not. To me, it's still different than it being Emmanuel, though.
True. I think Lennox Lewis would have been someone great to add to that camp because he's got such a wealth of knowledge from different training at different points of his career to really be able to help AJ. I know they had some conversations and it's more like a mentorship type situation, but I feel like if he was in his camp, he could be more hands-on and that would really like boost AJ's confidence too.
Clarence says Wilder versus Fury 3. What's the holdup? Dale People
Oh,
says Wilder would gain knowledge from Teddy Atlas or Buddy McGirt, but he has to get rid of his pride. Wilder's footwork sometimes can be pretty atrocious. He really has kind of skated by on just that immensely devastating power that he possesses. I honestly, yeah, I don't know. I mean, Teddy Atlas and Buddy McGirt, I don't think Teddy Atlas has it in him anymore. I don't think he really wants to train. I think he's pretty much done now. And Buddy McGirt's, right there on his way out too. And like I was saying earlier, I think you got to start from scratch. I think Wilder's just the fighter he's going to be. I mean, yeah, you can tweak some things, but there ain't going to be no big changes in that game.
I don't know. I think that he probably does have the fundamentals already. His problem is like you can be lazy when when you don't have to use any of those skills that you initially learned, and you have an amateur background. You're an Olympian. You know what I'm saying? Like these are things that he actually knows, but you just get so lazy when you've got so much, like you said, tremendous power that you can rely on, and it was working. So like, why would I change up anything if what I'm doing is working? I'll be like, shit, I don't need to change the damn thing. I got all these knockouts that prove that I don't need to change nothing. I only got caught one time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm sure that's his mindset. It's like, but I still got my power and I knocked out everybody else. And you really can't take that away from me. I still have my power. So I don't have to change up everything.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
so
go ahead.
No, I wasn't gonna make a point. I was gonna switch topics. So
no,
go ahead.
Then. Yeah, no, go for it.
So moving on to this weekend now, guys, I want to give.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. I'm sorry. Wait, just hold on a second. I can't believe you don't want to bring up the Verdejo fight. Oh my God, that was like hands down the best fight that I saw over the weekend. I thought that was like an amazing fight. Now, of course, I cannot pronounce the Japanese winner's name.
Neither can I.
But I'm telling you, I was like, oh my God, I was so devastated for Verdejo, guys.
Man, yeah, that's rough.
Oh my God, that was a tough loss, especially when you had this man hurt so much in the beginning, and you was like building a strong lead against him in the other rounds.
So don't get caught. Don't get caught.
Oh my God. Oh, so you don't feel bad for him at all that he almost stopped this man twice?
No, because he should have stopped him and he shouldn't have got caught.
Well, damn it. He was trying. Shit, did you see some of the stuff he was throwing at this man?
Now, this
I don't know how the Japanese guy got up.
This guy didn't only have a chin. He obviously had balls of steel, okay? For what he took in there, obviously. But still, with that being said, Verdejo is also a boxer. He's more to me like a puncher boxer. So use your boxing skills. You already got the fight almost won. Yeah. And then now you're taking a lot of punishment, a lot of heat. Ease off the gas and box the guy then. Because you have the victory in hands. There's no need to let this guy commence into a battle like that if you can't take it. Now, if he could take the heat, I wouldn't be saying this, but obviously he couldn't take it.
I think he suffered from the same thing that AJ was dealing with, which is stamina. Because he was throwing such bombs in the beginning of the fight that he lost the stamina. But listen to this, guys. Who was surprised that Verdejo had that much power in the first damn place? I never seen him come after somebody like that hard before, and I never seen him with that kind of power before. So I was like, who the hell is this?
So Verdejo, if y'all are listening and you've ever seen his fights, I felt like he was that talented early on in his career, and then for whatever reason he lost it. For whatever reason he lost it. And that reminds me of another great boxer who had all the macho-ness. Yes, I'm talking Hector Camacho. Had all that macho-ness, all that talent, and then got hit with a hard punch in his career, and then went to boxing like Floyd Mayweather.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, but I really feel that they really gave this kid like the ultimate reputation that might have not been so deserved. I mean, because when he did have his car accident and when he was partying, he was super young. And they just really railed him out like, oh, this and oh, that. He's screwing up his thing. He's messing up. He's partying. And all he needs to focus. Like, they really like just emphasize and would never let this shit go. I honestly was pissed when they kept bringing it up during the broadcast. This fight, when the man done won like 4 straight fights, and is like, going to a, was it a limit? No, he actually won a title with that. So, and he's in a title fight, and they still bringing up some shit from like 5 years ago. I'm like, give that kid a break, damn.
And
Like,
it's
I
the
wanted to
Hector
go
Cama-
personal now. I mean,
it's the
why they gotta
Hector
keep bringing
Camacho
up this
factor.
shit?
It's
Yeah.
the Hector Camacho factor. The worst thing in life is wasted talent.
It really is. And I don't know,
Okay,
So
that
you know,
Verdejo, it hurt my soul like that.
see,
It was just so rough, man. I got messages after that about Verdejo. Multiple people that felt the same way I did. Just it was soul crushing, It
yeah,
really
it was
was.
crushing for a lot of his fans, and he actually made me a bigger fan because I just had never seen that kind of power from him before, and it was like aggressive. It was like he was forcing the action. I really like to see that in him, but he's got to figure out a balance so that he doesn't give up all his stamina for later rounds. If he's not going to have enough to actually, KO somebody.
True.
that being said, you're not giving enough credit to the person who won the fight. Verdejo, I don't like losers. That's all I'm saying. Lucas,
Yeah, I mean
before we move
You
we all
before we
know
talked
move
that.
on,
about that. uh, let's see. Daniel Munoz says Nakatani made Lopez go 12 rounds. I think that's a statement that the kid can bang with great opponents. Yeah, I
Absolutely.
mean, it's bad that we weren't talking more about him, but I mean, it was just worse for Verdejo loss than it was a great win for Nakatani. I mean, it's just how it is.
By the way,
Um,
I think he might have an orbital bone broken. They
mm,
said that he had to, go to the hospital. His eye was still hurting. So, um, no, I don't think he'll be able to come back for a rematch anytime soon if that's what type of injury he really has. So I'm hoping that he really doesn't have that injury because I really feel like they need a rematch.
I would like to see one. All right. This weekend, of course, maybe is this like a warm up to maybe a Golovkin Canelo rematch because we got Golovkin on Friday, and then we got Canelo versus Caleb Smith here on Saturday. So if all goes according to plan, could we see Golovkin get the winner? And then we're gonna talk about obviously this matchup come Saturday.
A quick answer for me is no.
Oh man.
Don't see that being a lead up fight. I just feel like they were like, well, if we since we can't give them the Triple G, Canelo 3 like they want, we can at least give them both on the same weekend, right?
I don't know. I don't think there's no coincidences in life, So they scheduled these so that they'll be available around the same time. You know what I mean? So, that way they're gonna be free to make that fight. Now I'm not saying it gets made. I'm simply saying that it's planned out by DAZN to hopefully open those fighter schedules up. Um, Guys, let's talk a little bit more in depth about Canelo versus Caleb Smith. A lot of people think this is a huge step up, but for me, Caleb Smith's still a little too green. For Canelo, would you guys agree?
I don't agree because I thought that Callum Smith was the one that won the Super Series um, trophy. So I think that's plenty of experience. If I'm not mistaken, I think he won it. I mean, he's also the most talented of the Smith brothers, I believe, and he's actually the champion right now. So in that division, 168. So he is a champion. I'm sorry. So put him in there. Let him get his coins.
all right,
Look, it's
hold
not
on.
about
Let
winning.
me go in
And
now.
what's his best win? What's his best win? We're looking at like George Groves.
Yes.
I'll let y'all finish before I go in.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, yeah, that's a good win.
I
Don't
mean,
you think?
it's a good win, but it's not like a staple win. I mean, yes, George Groves is a good win to have on your resume, but if that's all you got against a guy like Canelo, I think you're a little still too green.
I mean, it's a couple of fights, right, to get to that level. I mean, it was like a tournament type thing. So, I mean, at that time, some people weren't at 168 or didn't agree to be in that tournament.
See, that
But
tournament That tournaments to me don't mean shit because that means who's in the tournament. That's kind of the same thing that we talk about. Is it doesn't matter if you got a belt. Who had the belt? Was it for a vacant belt? Because
Oh,
just
come on,
because you're
Lucas.
champ don't mean shit to me.
I mean, Canelo wasn't even in that division at that point. He was at 160 when they did the tournament.
I'm
The
just
same
saying.
thing for Benavidez, Caleb Plant as well. Like they just decided to move up and be in this division. So I mean, at the time, he fought the best that was in his division.
Let's see. Here we got some comments. Daniel Munoz says if Smith can stay his distance and use this reach, it can be anybody's game. But if not, I got Canelo in late round TKO.
Hmm.
CJ Hooker said I say the same thing.
Well, yeah,
Don't
I
nobody
don't.
want to know my opinion. Just don't nobody. My opinion just don't count.
Your opinion absolutely counts. Let's hear it.
This is how I feel about this weekend.
You don't want to see
No,
it at all?
not at all. I
Where
am
did we get this
absolutely
fight?
disappointed. I am absolutely disappointed in this whole situation. What's
Ooh,
the purpose of suing DAZN and Golden Boy to get you the better fights if you're not going to take advantage of it and get better fights?
okay.
Yes, Callum Smith is a big name in the DAZN world, but the true fight that we want to see, and all of our fans will sit here and agree with me, is Caleb Plant or Benavidez. Those are the names in this division that Canelo needs to be fighting. If not, a trilogy with Triple G to me is not as desirable. But if you can't find any of those names to fight you, which they're not willing to fight you, then a Triple G trilogy would be a better marketable fight than Callum Smith. I don't think he'll be tested at all. I don't think he'll even be tested at all. And then the absolute absurdity to put Triple G against, might as well say TBA on Friday night on DAZN, to me is absurd.
William Hunter says Benavidez is the only problem for Canelo at that weight. Canelo versus Smith will look like Horn versus Pacquiao, except Canelo wins. Laughing face. Uh, William Hunter says, continue. Caleb Plant won't go 2 rounds with Canelo.
But see, that's the allure of that fight, though, guys, is we don't know that. We don't know that.
Well,
I don't know what round who can't fight who, but I know that Caleb Plant would be a better skilled, competitive fight for fans to look forward to than a Callum Smith versus Canelo. And I do have to agree with.
Robert.
I have to agree with Robert. Damn it! Ugh. I am going to say that, yeah, we would rather see these other three names that he mentioned in the 168-pound division than what we are getting this weekend. But I mean, hey, it's a COVID year, it's the end of the year. At least they're trying to stay busy and active. But yes, why would you try to get out of a contract with individuals, then turn right back around and do the very fight that you were in dispute with them over? Okay.
because they're willing to
Exactly.
kiss your
A
ass
little
now.
confusing for sure.
Yeah, because they're willing to kiss his ass now.
But
That's
hey,
basically what
hey,
it is.
we didn't get Yildirim. Let's all thank God for that.
Man,
Yeah, that's a
yeah.
very good point.
Yeah, we would have not talked about that fight whatsoever. Now, I do agree with you, Rob. I think I'd rather see Plant, but it's basically off style clashes. I think Canelo's kind of struggled against those type of styles that Plant would offer. So I would like to see that more. I honestly don't think Smith is going to hold up much uh, at all. I think maybe a 5th round TKO from a body punch. He's got a long torso, and I can just see Canelo digging a hole right through him. It is going to get stopped. It's just a matter of when, and I'm going to go with 5th. he ain't getting past 5. You guys didn't really tell me an exact prediction yet, which I will let you get to that. Let's go to some uh, comments here. Let's see. Will Hunter continued to comment. Plant gets spoon fed better than Al. Better by Al than Bud by Aram. Man, I can't read some days. Daniel Munoz, Saunders versus Plant 100. Canelo took out the middleman and became his own brand. Which, yeah, most of the top guys do. They realize don't really need a promoter at certain points of your career. You could kind of go off on your own. Pacquiao, Cotto, Floyd, they all do it. Yeah, but Canelo.
But the problem is he
So-
thought that he wanted to go out on his own so he could be great because they were holding him back with his competition, and he didn't want to be known that way. That's what we thought. But now that we're right back at Smith Callum, we can't say that.
No, here's the whole problem. Here's the whole problem. Have you seen a promotion for this fight yet?
No.
That's the
It's
problem
on
with
this
all
weekend.
boxing, though.
Time out. No, it's not. No, it's not. We've had huge boxing events this year that were marketable the right way. And they might have been exhibitions or what not. They might have been on free TV. But damn it, they're getting made. They were made in COVID this year. There was big, huge numbers in viewerships and everything in boxing this year for marketing. So to me, that's false. And also, like I just said, I'm not hearing from anybody. I'm hearing crickets this week. Crickets. I'm not hearing from anybody talking about.
I had to tell you that the fight is this week.
Yeah, Emilio had to tell me Triple G was Friday. I didn't realize that.
Well, that one's
no, none of us did. You know why? Because they're not promoting it.
Well, my thing is like, guys, the zone is still economically challenged right now. I mean, that's just the whole bottom line of it. Because who wouldn't want to promote a Triple G fight and a Canelo fight? Come on.
That's my whole issue, Shakura. That's my whole issue with it. You went to fight these guys in court over the same bullshit, and you just went back to it. But a Canelo fight night should be
money,
huge.
I guess.
You went back to it because who the hell else? I mean, they gave $357 million for 11 fights. I mean, you go back to them people too. You'd be like, I want some more of that money. Shit, yeah, he did. Especially
but he was willing to fight for it.
And
he was willing to fight for it.
They knew he was going to win anyway. And he's going to get these fights regardless. I mean, whether it's with DAZN or somebody else, it could have even been worse. It could have been Yildirim, like we were just talking about. The WBC wanted to give it to him. That's what Canelo wanted to do. That is just a mockery of a fight. This is at least a huge step up from Yildirim.
Yeah, okay, well, these numbers are going to be horrible.
Yeah,
right, we're talking about it bad. I get that. I still don't think, and as I just said, I think Smith's going to get knocked out. I didn't even give him past the 5th round, but at the same time, like you said, Smith is the champ, so maybe he gets a belt, then maybe we see tougher competition. But then again, we've seen this from Canelo time and time again, so I don't know. Unless it's, somebody too green or somebody too little seasoned, should I say, you really don't see a lot of in-between fights with Canelo.
It's just sad because they got all those 100. They got BJ Saunders over there. You know what I'm saying? Triple G. They got Andrade that's saying he's gonna move up to 168 next. They got this talent over there, and it's just not being matched up at all. It's like, damn, what are y'all doing over there? Y'all really think this is gonna sustain a long-term plan to keep your company afloat in the U.S.
You just hit the nail on the head, Shakur. You just hit the nail on the head.
I did.
When you have the fighters, do what PBC does. Match them up and fight when you have the fighters. That's your promotion then. If you don't want to sit here and market these guys and make these big promotions for them, match them up.
Clearly, you don't know how matching fighters works because it's it's not that easy. I mean, everybody's got their own separate manager. Everybody thinks they're the A side. Except if you're fighting a Canelo, you know you're not the A side. But other than that, is always, oh no, I'm the A side. And this has been a problem with matchmaking, especially for Andrade, for quite some time. This was way before DAZN, way before his current promoter. He's been fighting TBAs for since the big dawn of time. There was Andrade versus TBA. I mean, he's a great fighter, but I feel a hesitation on his side because if not, a fight would have happened by now. Now, he did finally get that chance against Saunders, and then Saunders popped on the test. That's not his fault, but you got to at least try to make that fight again. You have to do something. It's kind of like the thing I say about Crawford all the time is you may have to take a lower paycheck to get a notable win to then build, but by the time he gets anything, he's going to be in his late 30s, and he's going to be retired.
I mean, they are trying to wait him out, basically. They want him to be less than he is now. But at the same time, it's funny to me, like,
is he
you can sit up there and offer, DAZN can sit up there and offer a Canelo and a Smith lots of coins, but they don't want to offer someone, some step up, some money to take that fight with Andrade the same way. While Andrade still gets paid what they told him he was getting paid, regardless of who he fights.
I mean, I feel you to a certain degree, but at the same time, we already know Canelo is already, he's already the ace. He's already achieved a lot. Okay, Smith has achieved way more than Andrade has, and that's not saying a lot. I mean, Andrade has not achieved anything. Why am I paying for you if you ain't doing shit? You gotta make a move.
They are paying them. That's my point. Is they are paying Andrade. They don't want to pay the opponent. But listen, on top of that, let's look at it this way. Let's just take the Canelo example out of the equation, okay? Because he is Canelo. You take him out of the equation, you still got a BJ Saunders there. You still got a Triple G there. But see, the thing is now is that DAZN is trying to like, oh, well, we don't want these two stars to fight each other because then one of them is not going to be as valuable. So we want everybody to fight other fighters so we can keep all three of them, and all four of them viable and valuable. So that's what they're coming against now. It's like, if we let these two fight, now one of them is going to now, be considered less than. When we want all of these people to be fighting, it's so silly. It's just crazy right now because they do not have what I consider to be, confidence in their boxes when they do that. Because you can put two A-sides in there together and it's such a great fight. People want more of it. I want to see a 2. Let's do a 3. But they don't even, I mean, at least Bob Arum does that, or he was doing that. You had like Pacquiao, Marquez, up to 4. You had these different Bradley Pacquiao too. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like you can still take them fighters, and if the fighters are as good as they're supposed to be, it's gonna be an action-packed fight. People are gonna want to see it again and again. So it's like they are just misinterpreting the way that they should be handling and managing or promoting these boxers.
Not to mention, what did they do back in the day? They put you on the same card. Can we at least see them on the same card? Even if it's a couple of cards back to back and there's no talk of the fight, at least put them on the same card and promote them that way.
Yeah, they just don't.
That's true. Like all super middleweights on the same damn card. You got them.
Let's see, Will Hunter.
Stop putting these fucking featherweights.
Canelo's only option is to move to 154 or to 175. Nothing really left for at 160 to 168. Charlo versus Canelo. Better Be versus Canelo. Those are the fights I want to see Canelo in. Better BF, I want to see more than anything myself. Let's see, he continues to say, I called the Canelo situation. I called DAZN situation. Now Fury Joshua fight is the lifeline for DAZN. They think it's a mega fight. Nope, won't sell in the U.S. If that flops, DAZN will probably drop boxing altogether. I give them 1 year, 2 years max, and they are done. So clearly, HBO was not the only one to have some struggles here. I think I was really hoping that HBO was like, we're just joking and get back into it, because I think they produced the better overall quality of a product. It just
Mhm.
And
felt
the
more,
card.
yeah. I mean,
And the
everything
card.
just felt
Everything
more
about it.
tuned up, and everything about the production was way better. Now, guys, I think we're all predicting that Canelo wins, but again, you didn't give me any actual predictions.
Ah. Let's see. Do I go with the underdog or not? Okay. Since I lost my last underdog prediction, I guess I better go with whom I feel is gonna win. So I have to go with Canelo. I'm gonna give Smith a little bit more credit than you did, Lucas, because lately Canelo hasn't been letting his heads go early. So I think I'll go with round 8 on this situation.
Gave him just a little bit more respect than I did.
You can go either way with this one. It's obviously a Canelo knockout. That's all I see happening. And it depends to me on what Canelo's motivation is in this fight. Does he want to make a statement, or does he actually want to get rounds in? I could definitely see Callum being the champion and Canelo giving him that respect and laying off of him early in the fight. So I could see Smith lasting eight, 9 rounds before
Right.
he gets hit with a nice little body shot and he can't take no more. Or I can see Canelo looking at everything, looking at he hasn't been in the ring. He might be really, really hungry. Looking at what Triple G can do Friday night, that might add more motivation to him. And he might want to make a statement and knock him out in 4 rounds. So either way, to me, it's a knockout. It's just what Canelo wants to do in there. Does he want to get the rounds in and give the guy respect? Or does he want to take him out and end it and make a statement? So I'm saying Canelo 4 to 8 rounds. That's what I'm saying.
Basically, you just took my prediction and Sakura's prediction and said it can happen anywhere in
It can
between.
happen anywhere between. Yes.
Oh man. Well,
Wow.
I think that about wraps it up. I don't know about you guys, but if the fight's good enough and we want to talk about it, we might have a pop up Saturday night show
Oh,
just to talk about Canelo Smith afterwards. Um, Rob,
Uh,
you're going to
I'm
be watching it, ain't you?
yeah, I'm just willing to bet it's gonna have a drop off. It's gonna have a major drop off. I feel it. And that Triple G fight might even do better just because it's a premier boxer on a Friday night.
Oh, that's right. I did. Did anybody catch the Showtime card with Colbert this weekend?
I'm behind on that one. Yeah, I got it recorded though.
Yeah,
Okay.
check that out. I was hearing some things about it, like it was a decent performance and everything like that. Since we're shouting out stuff, I encourage all of our listeners and everybody that are fans of the sport watch that Hector Camacho special on Showtime. Especially if you liked his life, enjoyed him as a boxer. They touch on everything, and a lot of the boxing is in there. It's not just the side antics. A lot of the boxing is in there. It's a great special.
I
Yeah,
definitely enjoyed it.
I want to thank Steve Cunningham for coming back on the show. I'm thinking about maybe doing like a one-on-one interview, maybe doing a little bit of talk, like I said, about simulation theory, flat Earth theory, because I know he's into the flat Earth stuff. But I want to thank him again for coming on the show. It's always good talking to him.
All
Will
right,
Hunter
guys.
says the Canelo fight will look like Clarissa Shields versus Zabatos. The ref get tired of seeing Smith bobblehead like James Kirkland and stop it. James
Well,
Kirkland's making a comeback here pretty soon too. We'll keep you informed on that.
Lucas can keep you informed on that because that's his
I
man
kind of like the
crush.
style, man. I like the style. You gotta like it. Come forward.
All
okay.
right, guys. So,
James wasn't able to make the show, but said good stuff, people. Great job.
Oh, he's so sweet.
all right, y'all. So, if there's nothing else, as always, I'm your host, Robert Alexander. This is a heavy bag boxing team. Alongside me is Shakira Armstrong, Lucas Biggers, the sole proprietary owner of the site, Y'all have a great night.
Heavybagboxing.com.